Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We are about to start our service for the day here, this location. I want to go ahead and give you a real quick rundown now to get the intros out of the way so I can just go start for the people who are here. You guys have any questions about today's message? I want you to please reach out to me. The Facebook channel this is posted on usually always has my information. My phone number, 540-421-9739. My name is Dakota Orball. My email address is the number 5, animal, fist, kung fu, KUNGFU, @gmail.com. So you can also shoot me an email. If you would ever like to come to the location that I'm doing services for live ministry every weekend on Sunday, first day of the week, then feel free to shoot me a text message, email, or call me, and I can give you directions, and you can come here anytime you want to. So thank you guys. I'm going to pause the video, and when we come back, we'll be officially doing our message. Okay. All right. So there we go. So I have a pretty cool and kind of raw story I'd like to share with you guys. I'm going to kind of dig deep into my own history for this. You know, when people first get saved, you're going to be surprised to hear you don't really have true, earnest, unbreakable faith when you first get saved. No, not really. When I was younger, and my grandmother can attest, because she helped to build the foundations of my faith. When I was younger, I always used to say things, because I love Father, love Joshua from the time I was a kid. Faith came easy to me. And I always used to say things like, I will never be mad at Father. I'll never get upset at him. I'll never doubt anything. I'll never have faithless moments. And I used to think that that was true faith. And when I first started to serve Father, I continued to maintain this belief. And for people who watch my videos, this might sound a little similar to something I talked about the other day, but bear with me. I used to think that that was real faith. In fact, I remember I heard a story one time. Johnny Cash, it was one of his last interviews he ever had before he died. And he said that he said God, and he said, I've never been mad at God my whole life. He's talking about his faith. And at the time, I thought, yeah, Johnny, I get you. Now, over the years, I've served Father. I've been through things, been through a lot. And I've been through things I didn't understand. Things that really upset me, made me mad. And a lot of times, I didn't even want to admit at the time that I was mad at Father. And the reason I would get mad a lot of times is because I was giving up things, or I was doing without things I really wanted that I thought wasn't fair. How to do with that. And I fooled myself into thinking that when you give yourself in service to Father, which if everybody here has heard this message, there's a difference between just being a child of Yah and a servant of Yah, giving your life to him in service. It's a big difference. It comes with a lot more responsibility when you say you're going to serve him, give your life to him in service. It's a big difference. Big deal. And I fooled myself into thinking, and it caused me a lot of problems. This is what caused me my sufferings. As I said, to serve Father, he cares about when I complain and I bellyache and I moan and I whine about the things I have to give up to serve him. Or I've literally said these words over the last couple of years, things I never thought I'd say. I've already given up all this for you. I've already done all this for you. How much more you want me to give? How much more you want me to do? And what made me mad and what made it bad was I thought, and I fooled myself into thinking, Father's sitting there and he's going, I'm so sorry. I know you gave up all this stuff. What Father was actually saying to me was, son, I understand you're upset. I understand that you're mad. I understand you went without things. But you're mine. You decided to serve me. Whether you knew what that entailed or not, you chose me. Well, technically, I chose you first, and I knew it was always going to happen, but formality's sake, you chose me. So, you need to understand, get this through your mind. Whatever you've given up, before, now, whatever you still have to do without, for your whole life, I don't care. You have to do and give up and be okay with and make peace with whatever I call of you. Because it's about me and my plan. Because see, we as humans are guilty of thinking that Father thinks like us, thinks with a human brain. He may understand us. He may understand humans. I've always hated hearing people say, well, he doesn't understand humanity. He doesn't understand people. For some people even say part of the reason why Yahshua came was not just to give salvation, but so Father could understand people through Yahshua. You have to understand, if Father is truly almighty and omnipotent, the true almighty being, he's perfect. If you're perfect, that means you lack nothing. You don't lack understanding. You don't need to understand something or learn to understand something because you already know it. So Father didn't have to be human to understand us. He does understand how humans think, but he doesn't think like us. So when he does something, and right now, you don't have to have a philosophical debate and a religious debate and conversation to feel in the world that Father is shaking things and he's doing things. Things are so bad because Father is literally beginning to shake the very foundations of this planet. You can feel Father's presence subtly starting to shake in everything right now. He's literally getting ready to upheave everything from the roots down. Because Father says, I am not going to establish an imperial kingdom of my glory unless I shake it up and I uproot the evil from the very dredges. So you can look around and not just be a believer, but you can be anybody, even atheists, even people who have no faith. I know right now people can feel something isn't right in the world. Something's happening. Father's plans right now are so great, what he's doing, that if you serve him, the things you're doing without, or the things you have to do, the things that aren't fair, newsflash, I'm sorry, I hate to say it, I had to accept this myself. He's not going to in any way change or alter his plan for the sake of your feelings because of the magnitude, on account of the magnitude of what he's about to do. What's at stake? So as humans, we think he thinks like us, and therefore, because as a human being, we are inherently ingrained in our humanity to be self-serving, to be selfish. It's about survival. No human in their humanity does anything for nothing, or anything self-sacrificially for themselves. Every human in their humanity does everything they do, even a good work, even a good thing, for some sort of self-serving reason. If you do something good for somebody else, deep down, even if you don't expect something back, you're thinking, I did that really good thing, and if Father saw it, maybe he'll hold it to good on my account. That is what our humanity does. And look, it's just humble. You got to humble yourself and admit that's just a fact. That's how we're ingrained to think. So if we serve Father or we belong to Father, admitting and accepting the fact that life and living and everything is not about us, but it's about him fully in every facet, including the things you give up or do without that's unfair and hurts, bad, is part of being able to accept the true nature of who he is. Because, when you get saved, who's the first one everybody always gets to know? Yahshua. And Yahshua is easy to love. He gave his life, sacrificed himself. It's easy to love him. He's relatable. He understands people. Because he went through all the same crap. All the same stuff. And if there would have been a chronicler following him around in his day in the bushes, chronicling every little detail down, you would have seen the true depth of the crap he went through and the things that Yahshua battled with. You would have seen it. You only get a small little glimpse. Most people gloss over it, but him telling a fig tree to wither, because he was upset and mad, chasing people out of the temple with a whip. You saw a little taste of the frustration and all the things, that the volatility he went through. But he's relatable. So it's easy when you first get faith. He's the first one you get to know. But when your faith starts to grow, if it's meant to grow, if you're not meant to be like the seed that falls on the path and gets eaten by birds, or you're not like the seed that falls in the stones and immediately sprouts up and withers, or like the seed among the thorns that eventually gets choked out, if you're meant to be seed that grows and produces, you're going to have to get to know who Father really is. And that is where it hurts, and that's where the rubber meets the road. Because you find out a lot of things about Father you don't like. You don't like. Because he's everything. He's not just love and compassion and forgiveness. He's also wrath and justice. And he's about him. He's the only being who has the right to be selfish and be all about him. Because he made everything, and everything exists because of him. He's the only one. So, and he literally says he's jealous. He literally says his name is jealous. So when you get to know him, you start to realize your faith stops being this pretty little roses and flowers picture where you think it's all about me and got saved, I get to go to heaven and everything's fine and good and great and dandy. And now you realize, okay, wow, belonging to this almighty deity means a lot more than what I thought it does. It means I got to sacrifice my humanity. I got to sacrifice the things that mean something to me. It means I got to become all about an invisible being my five senses cannot perceive. You think about, you look at that picture of Yahshua on the wall out here, the Alkeon Kremeric drew. You know, even people, when you watch a movie, you can see a depiction of Yahshua. So your sight, one of your five senses can perceive Yahshua. You cannot hear audibly, you can't smell, you can't taste, you can't touch, and you can't see Father. So he's beyond the five senses of humanity. Utterly beyond five senses. So you realize that to truly know him and your faith to get deep, you have to literally be willing to come off of a human track. It's all about you, which is natural. It's natural to be on a human track. It's natural to be all about you. It's natural to want to do for yourself. If you're on a human track, you logically think through everything. You literally have to take yourself off a human track, and you have to do the unnatural and take yourself off a natural fleshly track and put yourself on a spiritual track. You got to live against nature. It's like fire becoming water or water becoming fire. It's what you got to do. Literally, it's what you become. And when you realize you have to live on a spiritual track and sacrifice all the things, any idea of I have to give up some kind of a comfort or something that I like or I want for a being I can't see. And furthermore, who's all about himself. I'll benefit from the things he does, but he's not doing it for my sake. He's doing it for his sake. If he gives you anything great, he's not doing it for your sake. He's doing it to get glory for himself, and you benefit from it. The people of Yisrael, he didn't call the people of Yisrael out and do great things for them for their sake. It was for his sake and his glory. He said, I want to be noticed. You benefit, but it's about me. I want glory. I deserve it. So to furthermore realize I'm going to take myself on a spiritual track and suffer with things, do without things, for an invisible being I can't see, who is all about himself, first and foremost, who may allow me to suffer for his will, and I have to still choose that and do without these comforts for this same being. Now you tell me how many people are going to learn about the true nature of Father. That true nature, how many people are truly going to say, well, it's worth it, I can do that. Why do you think Yahshua said, and I hear this preached so little, why do you think Yahshua said, broad is the way and the gates that lead to destruction, and many go through it. Listen to this word. He said, truly listen. Don't just listen like a parable and a Bible story. Listen as if he was here saying it himself. Narrow is the way to life, to heaven, to Father, and few find it. How many humans have ever lived? Not just now, but forever. How many humans are in this world right now? Billions. Yahshua himself said, few will find the way to life. Why? Because Yahshua knew when people start finding out who and what Father really is, only those truly foreknown by him, who can't fail, who are meant to make it, even if they're crawling and bloody by the end, are going to pass through the narrow passageway because of the reality of who Father is. The world is in such horror because it does not know its creator and what the creator is like. The world has become so selfish and self-serving, and everybody's all about themselves. And so many believers turn away from faith because when they find out about what he's really like, if they ever do, they run screaming for the hills.
It's too tough.
It's too tough, too hard. But look, truth is hard. Truth is a nasty, bitter pill to swallow. It's not pretty. Yahshua may have said the truth will set you free, but he didn't say it would sound good. He didn't in any way say it would sound good. In fact, he even said you'd suffer in the world for Father. Yeah, he said, take heart for I've overcome the world, but that don't make it easier. It don't make it easier at all. Now, Yahshua also didn't say that it wouldn't be worth it, because he also said that nothing anybody gave up, that in both their time and when they went home, wouldn't reap tenfold, abundantly, but still, when you don't see it yet, Father's promised me stuff, I don't see it. I don't have it, don't see it. And I can't serve him because I'm serving for those things, or I want those things. Because if I'm serving him just because I want stuff from him, I'm going to fail. Because then when I don't see that stuff come to pass, and I get mad and upset, I don't have them, thinking about the things he's promised, and I don't have them yet is not enough to keep my faith strong. Instead, it's realizing I'd rather be on his side regardless than be in his way, or he's going to steamroll me. Because if I'm not going to be of use to Father, he's going to discard me. If I'm going to get in his way because I want to live and be selfish, he's going to discard me. And let me tell you, I'm not telling you this from a pulpit. I'm telling you this right from the nasty dredges, because I have had some of the worst, most baby-fied moments with Father. I've had moments where I thought to myself, I wish I could go back in time and say I never served you. I wish that things could be different. I've gotten so mad, I've yelled, I've shouted, I've done all the things over the last couple of years I said I would never do. I have faced fear, terrible fear of things I've not had, things I feel I would lose. Even though Father told me about certain things, don't worry about this stuff, I'm still seeing physical stuff coming at me. He's promised invisible things and invisible protection, but I'm still seeing very real things that are scary. And in those moments, you know what? It wasn't pretty love and it wasn't pretty faithfulness that got me through and got me to where I am now, still standing here and not giving up and having said I'm finished and I'm done and renouncing him. What's kept me here is something people do not know and do not have any understanding of today, and that is the fear of Yah. The fear of him. Why do you think it is written, know the fear of Yah? We can love him all day long, be faithful to him all day long. All those things are byproducts of knowing the fear of him. Because when I'm having a baby-fied moment, because I'm upset, in that moment, I'm not thinking about how I love him. I'm not thinking about how I'm faithful. I'm being selfish in that moment. I'm having a nasty moment. What's pulled me out of those dark trenches is realizing I've got two choices. I stay on this path, and it come what may, hell or high water. And if I don't, and I get off this path, I become his enemy. He's got no more use for me. And from that point, guess what? I'm screwed now. Now he will take delight in bringing ruin to me, because now I become his enemy. He told the people of Israel, he said, if you do good by me and you love me and are faithful to me and obey me, I will take delight in enriching you. But another thing people don't like to talk about is right after that, then he said, but if you disobey me and you do not give me what I want, he said, look this up in your own Bibles, please do. Go back, it's Old Testament, Pentateuch, the Exodus or Leviticus, Shemoth or Leviticus. He literally says right after that, if you do not give me what I want, you're not obedient to me. You don't give me what I desire and crave. He said, I will take delight in punishing you and bringing ruin upon you. Savvy with that for a minute. Everybody who likes to preach, he's all good and all love all the time and good feelings.
Don't know him.
But if you cross him and he flips his switch, he literally says, I will take delight in bringing ruin upon you. See, that's why he don't think like us. Can you as a human imagine loving somebody, but then if they betray you and turn against you, you can flip a switch completely and then take joy in seeing their suffering? Could you imagine as a human doing that, being able to do that? Could you imagine as a human being able to take somebody you love, but then they betray you or violate you in some way? Even the people that have hurt us the most, we usually can give them chances again down the road. We can let it go. Could you imagine that person, even a child, being able to go from loving them to flipping a switch and now they mean nothing and taking delight in their suffering? Can you imagine that? That's why he don't think like us. That's why he's not human like us. Because he can do that. So I've realized in my lowest of the low, horrible moments, well, I was abhorrent to him in the ways I acted. Well, I always used to say, I'll never have moments where I'll be faithless or I'll doubt or I'll be mad at you. I was a fool to say those things because I said them out of pride. I said them because I wanted to feel like I could go my whole life and never have those feelings because it would make me feel better, make me feel like I was a cut above the rest. Yet again, that's pride. Father's got no use for that. He don't want you to say anything. He doesn't want anything to come out of your mouth because you're saying or thinking, because I'm going to be a cut above other people that came before me. He don't want to hear that. He don't want to hear that trash. He doesn't want to see you take something on yourself that he didn't command you to do because you think it makes you more righteous or you think it makes you better in some way. If somebody were to see the way I was living and say, I want to emulate the way he's living, but then Father didn't tell them to live the way I'm living. They want to live the way I'm living because they think it's a righteous way to live. Father's not going to look at them and say, oh yeah, good job. He's going to look at them, he's going to say, I didn't command you to live this way. You're living this way because you think it makes you more righteous. I have no use for that. I want all the glory. If you do something, you need to do it. And when you say why you're doing it, if you're asked, it's because the reply is, Father told me to do this. Yahweh Elohim told me to do this. And it's hard. I don't like it. But it's not about me. It's about him. He said, if you have to debase and humiliate yourself for me, like the Nevi'im, like the prophets who came before, he's like Joshua did, like the disciples did, that's what you have to do. Hey, Yechezkel, Ezekiel baked his food over dung. Yeshayahu, Isaiah, he walked naked for 2 straight years, prophesying to the people of Israel. Can you imagine how humiliating that would be? Walk around nude? And you think they had pride in that? They didn't have any pride in doing that. They weren't proud of themselves. They were humiliated. But it was for Father's sake. No, why am I saying all this? It's not because I'm trying to paint a gloom and doom picture. It's not because I'm trying to be negative. It's not because I'm trying to sound pessimistic. It's because there are a lot of people out here in churches, and there's all kinds of religious influencers online. There's a whole bunch of prophets and teachers on TV who are teaching people, telling them all kinds of stuff. But I will always stand by this. You are going to be a horrible teacher if Father doesn't make you go through and experience everything first to tell your people. If you've not been through it and you've not experienced it, you're a horrible teacher. You're not going to be able to stand for it. Because you can say pretty words. I have said a lot of pretty words over the time I've served Father. But they were all hollow until he let me go through the crap, horrible things that allowed me to truly understand and taste what real faith is like. I can honestly say when I was a kid, I was younger, I didn't know faith. When I first went to Father's service, I didn't know faith. It was all pretty. It was a pretty picture. He made promises, things that sounded great, things I believe in, still do. But I served him and I got into it for the wrong reasons. But since he has matured my reasons, I have now come to see, I have a taste. You remember when Joshua said there's a man who builds a house on stone and a man who builds a house on sand? I now really understand what stone versus sand means. Being built on stone means you have a concrete reason that is unshakable for why you're in Father's service, why you don't renounce Him, why you have faith. A man who builds it on sand, when he goes through the worst of times, he can't pinpoint a reason why he's actually doing what he's doing, why he's standing for it. Because it shifts. You lose your meaning and you lose who you are and why you're doing it because you have no concrete reason. I understand now, the man who builds on concrete, you and you and you and you and me, your concrete reason needs to be, for everybody unilaterally, if I don't get on His side, I don't choose to give all that I am to Him, even if you're just a child, if you're a child of Yah, if you're not an active servant given a particular job by Him, if you're just being His child, living every day to follow His mitzvah, His commands, choosing Him, worshiping Him and Him alone, turning from the satanic evil in this world anytime you have the opportunity to, whether you're that or you're a servant. If your concrete reason, if you don't understand, it is I choose Him fully, 100%. He is not going to meet me in the middle. He's not a meet in the middle kind of being. Why should He be? Why should He ever have to meet anybody in the middle? He gives everything to us. He gave us life. He gives us chance after chance after chance. He gave us His Son to die horribly. What? For a being who made everything in the first place. It's like the axe doesn't have a right to look at the man who wields it and say, why are you wielding me? Or the potter looking at the man who forms the potter. The pot can't look at the potter and say, why are you doing this to me? No living being has a right to look at Him and expect anything from Him, but He's not going to meet us in the middle in that. If we say, well, fine, I'll know you, or fine, I'll serve you, but you gotta give me this and this and this. Meet me in the middle and give me these things, and then I'll do it. Father's going to say, how about you give me everything first? Give me yourself, give me your love, your worship, your adoration. You give me everything. And then, you glorify me, you will bask in the radiance of my glory. Let's do that instead. Joshua said, your cup would run over. But it's not because you're asking Father for all these things and you want from Him. It's because if you can truly learn to forsake yourself and the things that you desire, that you crave, if you can give up those things for Him, for Father's glory, and ironically, you can stop wanting and caring about those things, then He literally lets it all rain down on you anyway, because now those things aren't an idol to you anymore. Now you've chosen Him instead. Now you've said, where He looks at you and He says, my grace is sufficient. Now you can look at Him and now you can say, Father, you are sufficient for me. I want money, I want love, I want all these things. But you are sufficient for me. Not your love is sufficient, not your grace is sufficient, not your mercy, not you, Father, and the pursuit of your glory is sufficient for me. And then that's when things naturally rain down. And that's a hard thing for humans to get to, because it deceives our minds. The filthy worm deceives our minds and makes us think that if everything is given up for Father, with Him in mind, all of a sudden now you have nothing, you live in destitution and in poverty. But in all actuality, anybody that ever gave for Father completely, they gave for Him as a way to gain utter and complete glory for Himself. When they gave up every means to have for themselves, He then literally poured down upon them more than they could possibly even begin to use in a lifetime. Because Father says, if you go out here and you make a lot of money for yourself, or you get a business for yourself, or you make and do all kinds of stuff for yourself, He says, good for you. But where's the glory for me? Whereas if you have no means to provide for yourself, make money for yourself, get anything for yourself, and I mean in an extreme situation. I'm talking like you're serving Father, and you're, for instance, my situation, you know? Let's say you're in a situation where you're living fully by faith in Father. He will provide for you and take care of you, your health, everything. Then when he does those things, he heals you, gives you health, longevity, freedom from financial satanic bonds. He literally gets all the glory for it when he does it. 100%. You cannot say, if somehow he, financially, let's say, a huge financial thing befalls you out of nowhere, and you didn't go out and get a business to make it, you didn't go work 7 days a week to make it. If you did, you're going to say, well, Father gave me the ability to get it, but I worked and I earned it. Father does something big, and anyway, he's going to say, stand back, my child, bask in my glory. Look what I did. Look what I rocked. The greatness I did, the power that I rocked. Look at this. And then it's not only going to affect the people that aren't believers, but even the people who are never going to believe. Mark my words when I say this. There are going to be people in the days ahead who's going to see Father do things that makes what he did in the first covenant, the Old Testament days, look small by comparison. And there's going to be people who's going to look at these things. They're still going to say, I don't care. I don't want to know him. For the reasons I've laid out. They're still going to say they don't want anything to do with him because he's a cruel tyrant and I don't want to live by his rules, so screw him. A lot of people are going to say that still. He's not a glory seeker because he just wants all the people who don't believe to say, oh, you are real. He wants to be able to look at all the people who's going to say, nah, I don't want to know you. He still wants to be able to show and in their face, but can you deny my power? Can you deny my glory? And to every demon, and to the worm itself, to the betrayer itself, Father wants to stand at the pinnacle and say, who is like me? You've tried. You've made idols for yourself. You've made every deity under creation. You've explained away all things. You have said I did not exist. But he wants to stand at the pinnacle of all creation and say, who is like to me? I know not one. That is what he wants to say. And to understand, like I have been slowly coming to, that's who my Father is. That's who I serve. I serve the one who wants to be, and who is the only one that deserves to be at the very pinnacle. He doesn't need me to be up there trying to scramble to get beside of him to say, look at me, look at me, look at me. Or to say, it's not fair, it's not fair, it's not fair. He wants me to be one of the ones face down at the very bottom of the summit, saying, Kadesh, 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 Kadesh are you. Unworthy is all creation of you. You alone, exalted, glorified, righteous, magnified in splendor. And he wants us to willingly do that. The Shayamin, the angels, they don't do what he made you to do. And it's a hard job. They do that. They're created, fashioned, bred to do this. You're made in Father's image. You know why he made you in his image? He made you in his image because he's taking something that's imperfect, something he made in his own image. And if you're meant to be one of the ones to make it, he wants to take something low and defiled and impure, something made in his image, and he wants to refine it and purify it to such a point that when you are stripped of all the things that make you human, all things, to go be with him, he can look at every individual person ever made in his image that he glorified and perfected. It's like him looking at a lesser, perfected, glorified image of himself in every single person and saying, I glorified myself in this one, in this one, in this one, in this one, and in this one. He wants to bask in every single person made in his image. And it's literally, he made you to glorify himself in you. You're nothing more than a vessel of glory. Why do you think that it was written? Joshua constantly said that you would glorify yourself in me, that you will glorify yourself in the Son. It wasn't because he was the Father. It wasn't because he was Yah in the flesh. It was because Father made him in his likeness, like he made you in his likeness. And therefore, he was saying, I know what you really want, Father. What you want is to be able to glorify a part of yourself in me, to be able to stand back and say, how I have glorified myself in this vessel. Father's perfect. He can't glorify himself anymore, but he can fashion something in his image. He can put himself in that image, and he can, if you're meant to be one of them, if you're prized enough to be one, you can literally be fashioned as a form of him, so that then he can stand back and he can say, look what I have glorified and wrought of myself. It's the closest way that some deity like him can get excitement and a thrill and glory, because there's nothing else above him. So you make things of yourself, an image of you, a reflection of you, to be magnified and turned into the greatest aspect of itself. It's like Father looking into a slightly different image of himself, like a different mirror. That's why we're here. That's what I've learned. That is what has me, with everything in me, every day fighting to burrow down in the ground and become one of the seeds that actually sprouts and produces, and not become one of the seeds that gets withered by thorns. So it keeps me on this path. It's not all the love and the good mushy feelings and the faith. It is, I get what he wants. And if I don't give it to him, he's going to rip me up out of the ground. He's going to have his heavenly servants bind me up with all the weeds and throw me into the fire, because I'm no good. I want to be what sprouts. I get what he wants is to glorify himself in me. That means in my strengths, my weaknesses, in my sufferings, and all of it. And you know why we don't have to actually be afraid of anything when we're going without something? You know why we don't have to be afraid? You know why, Father, if you really belong to him, you know why he's not going to let you get hurt? Because if you are a vessel of his image that he is going to perfect himself in, you think Father's going to hurt himself? That's why when he promises you, when he says, like to me, I'm going to protect you and keep you safe. Just trust me.
Don't man won't let you go through trials, though.
Does man want you to go through trials? But I'm going to keep you safe. I'm going to protect you. He's not telling you he's going to protect you for your own sake. It's because he says, I'm protecting myself in you. I am protecting what I'm doing in you. I am protecting the part of me that you are becoming. He says, strive therefore, as well as Yahshua said, strive to be perfect as your heavenly Father is perfect. It wasn't because he was saying you're going to be able to be perfect on your own as a separate perfect being. His only Father's perfect. He said, strive to be perfect as your Father is perfect, because it is the pursuit of striving to renounce so much of yourself that you don't even know anymore where your own being or his being begins. That's how much of him you will allow to overtake yourself. And therefore, he protects his own. And all is of him. You are made from him, of him in his image. Therefore, he defends and protects his own, which is himself. All things are of him. I can't stress to the greatest apex with all the things that we are seeing, and we'll see. You won't get there, and you're not going to make it into the new age because you had a superficial faith that was all about yourself and getting things, and you just want to get to heaven. You're going to get there because you're going to understand what he wants. You got to understand, if you're going to get there and you're going to make it to this new time, it's because you have thrown yourself down on the chopping block and you've said, I will be a vessel and a mirror for your image and your glory in this time. For all things in this time to come, all things will reflect your glory, no longer the glory of man. In the age of Yah, in the age of Elohim, all things will reflect your glory. And if it is not a reflection of your glory, if the glass has been smeared, you will smash it. When your presence circles this world in the days to come. Everywhere that your Ruach, that your spirit lingers, you will see a reflection of your glory in all things around you. And if it is not, then those things you will throw and cast away. Because Father now passes over all this world, and all he sees is the glory of man. He sees an image of man. He sees the greed and the avarice of man, and he sees the wickedness and the desire for power and greed of the serpent. All part of his plan, of course. In his brilliance, let the evil become so all-consuming. Let it become so far beyond the past of recompense, where it is inconceivable to man. And then, I and only I can simply wipe my hand over that smeared surface, and I can purify it and bring my glory to full fruition. Make no mistake, you're going to listen to this message, and you're still, every day, you're going to fight and struggle with being selfish and self-serving. You're going to struggle a lot of times to recall to mind what I'm saying right now. But I encourage you, just like I'm encouraging myself. I'm encouraging myself as I'm saying these words. Because there are things that I still battle and struggle with, and fears that tries to come to my mind. And even right now, as I am talking to you, I'm literally saying in my own mind, I have to remember why I'm serving Father. Not for me, not because of the good stuff coming, but because I am terrified to be in his way. I can't. Father doesn't have anything more he wants me to say. That's it. It's not wordy. It's not deep. It's just there. There it is. Not pretty. Well, I guess in some ways, in a weird way, it is, but in other ways it's not. And that's it. He's got nothing else. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your time. What? And for anybody who needs this, Devarim, Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 63. I'll just quote this for your sake. Just as it pleased Yahweh to make you prosper and increase in number, so it will please him to ruin and destroy you. You will be uprooted from the land you are entering to possess. It's the one that I referenced earlier for your benefit.